Welcome to the Joy of Coding!
Hello, and welcome to episode 209 of The Joy of Coding. I'm Mike Conley, going to be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. How are you? I hope you're well. I hope you're safe and with your loved ones, wherever you are. I'm hacking again from my basement. I'm working from home. I've been working from home for the past couple of weeks. And last week was my first experiment working from home in the basement and doing the Joy of Coding in the basement. We're going to try again today. I'm hoping that the Wi-Fi holds out. We'll see. Fingers crossed. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you've got audio now. Hopefully, for the people who are watching the live stream, this is the second take on the introduction because during the first take there was no sound. So if you're watching the live stream right now, do let me know in the chat if there's something wrong with the sound. I've been messing around with cables and rearranging my workspace, so I have a feeling that's what contributed to the lack of sound. But do let me know if there's anything wrong. Let me switch to my screen. Enough preamble. What's going on? Well, today is episode 209, and a reminder for the people who maybe are new to the stream, no plan survives breakfast, especially nowadays. We're all improvising, but during this stream, I tend to improvise. I don't have pre-existing solutions on what I'm going to be working on. I know what I want to work on, but I don't know necessarily how I'm going to get there. And I'm going to be coming up with it on the fly, like I would if I were doing my job normally. I'm going to be inventing stuff. I'm going to be going down blind alleys, trial and error, the classic software development workflows that I don't think a lot of people get to see very often, because if you follow along open source software projects, what you tend to see are just patches going through review maybe from other people, and you don't get to see them being made. So that's what this is all about, capturing what goes into making those patches and all the struggle and the trial and error. So, no plan survives breakfast. The other thing is that this agenda that we're looking at is something that you have access to. If you want to click on any of the links, it's particularly handy. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out the video description. There is a link to the agenda there. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the handout section. And if you're watching this on Twitch, let me drop a message in the Twitch chat. I will point out I am not really paying much attention to the Twitch chat right now. There is a Matrix channel, a Matrix instance. If you're not familiar with Matrix, it's a chat protocol, and you can almost think of it as like the usurper. I don't know if that's the right framing for it. It is the successor to IRC, at least at Mozilla. We don't use IRC anymore. We use something called Matrix. We have our own Matrix instance. And if you're interested in joining us in the live hacking chat, that I am paying close attention to. And there is a guide here on how to join in the agenda down here under chat, how to join, and then there's a link to the live hacking room on our instance, on Mozilla's Matrix instance. So come join us. If you want to chat, I will see you, and I can talk to you there live during the stream, and even after the stream if you want to drop me messages. Okay, so that's the agenda. There's also an episode guide. Maybe you're not familiar with the episode guide. There's an episode guide for this series. One moment while I switch to my browser for a sec and go to the episode guide. The episode guide is completely viewer driven. It's something that we have mainly one, but actually two or three contributors to, one very prolific and who has sent a pull request for episode 208. But this episode guide can be pretty handy if you want to search and find topics that I covered in previous episodes, and you should check that out. And it's something that you should feel free to contribute to as well. If you're watching this episode in the future, or you've seen a previous episode or a future episode and you want to add your own notes, addenda, corrections, etc., you want to expand on something, send me a pull request to the repository for the episode guide. It's completely viewer driven. It's completely sort of viewer curated. I'll just merge stuff in, and I'm very lax in what I will merge in. So please just send me your stuff. And if you're not sure what a pull request is or a repository is, there are links in the agenda that kind of guide you through all that. Right, so pandemic edition. I'm streaming from home. Let's hope the Wi-Fi holds out. I'm gonna just there was some good feedback on the music that I was playing last week, so I'm going to keep playing music in the background if it's all right. This is the Free Music Archive. This is Broke for Free again. This is the same artist who has the background music for the Binging with Babish YouTube channel, and that's quite loud. I'm going to turn that down a little. Sorry. Hold up. Too loud. Too loud. How do I turn that down? There, much more quiet. There we go. Better. Also, people seem to really like the freestyle raps, so I might do a couple of those during this episode as well, especially if we're waiting. Okay, so there's the music. Let's get started on what we're working on today. So, maybe you've been following along the stream and you're aware that I've got this project to try and make it faster to start up Firefox. In particular, I want to make it faster to get from the point where you run the executable to rendering the About homepage, which looks like this normally by default. And if you'll notice that this one's broken right now because I'm messing around with it. Mainly what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to that's still quite loud, isn't it? I'm trying to cache this what's normally a dynamically generated page. I'm trying to cache it periodically, and then during startup, pulling it out of the HTTP cache so that we can like render it really, really quickly without having to do a lot of computation. So it sounds relatively simple, but it's actually been a real pain. But we're at the point now where I've got something rendering. I've got like the search input rendering. Things don't like work perfectly, but they sort of work. Let's give you an example. Let me start up again. Let me show you what I've got so far. Actually, hang on, I can make it work even better. It was this file. I was messing with this generated file because of probably the bug that we're going to work on today. I'm going to try and introduce it to you. So I'm going to turn it all there. Go faster. And then we're going to have to regenerate the cache. I'll show you how I generate the cache. Right now it's programmatic, but it's going to be done like on a timer as the page updates. We'll do it lazily. So here we go. Well, actually, it's kind of working right now. You know, with the this all is working. But the reason why it wasn't working before is because of how images are currently sent down to this page from the parent process. The way that we currently do it is by using what are called blob URIs. So the images actually exist as something that the process manages. Images like the thumbnails in particular. The thumbnails for, like, let me see if I can show you an example of my own new tab page here. These thumbnails that are captured are things that the browser manages, and the privileged content process, which is what this page is running in, doesn't really have access to. It's not supposed to have direct access to the file system. So what we do instead is, right now, is we create these what are called blob URIs, and we send the blob URIs down to the content process. And as soon as you create a blob URI for something, you're giving that process access to it, a particular resource. It works cross-process. And the problem with those blob URIs is that they're dynamically generated and they don't exist, or they don't persist between restarts. Blob URIs do not persist across restarts. So that's why we were getting that error page before, and that's why I'm like returning null here as kind of like a hack, so that the page actually works. And I don't actually want to return null there. That doesn't make any sense. I need to make it so that, hold on a second. Can you lower the music a little bit, please? It's difficult to concentrate on the voice. Oh, I apologize. Let me lower the music even further. If we want to just like pause the music, I can do that as well. I've lowered the music a significant degree by a full order of magnitude. Maybe, let's see, that's too low. Maybe that's just enough. All right, let me know if that's enough, Baraka. Let me know, Baraka, if that's better. Okay. So I had been returning null here. This create local image object is the thing that converts, I think, the blob URIs into what eventually shows up on the page. And I don't want to use that workaround anymore. And so what I want to actually do is give the privileged about content process access to those images. And I feel safe doing that because the privileged about content process is supposed to have slightly elevated privileges. Not fully elevated, not like full-blown privileges like the parent process, but slightly elevated. And so here's my plan for today. As much as one can have a plan when you're live streaming like this. I want to let me, the creation of the worker lazy, what do I want to do? I want to make it so that the page thumbs protocol works, makes it the page thumb protocol works in the privileged about content process. Okay. Oh, Brocka says the music can now be even a little bit higher. Okay. Okay. Let's try that. Or that. Let's see what happens. Goshen is noticing that I'm changing volume through the console. Yeah, that's because there's no volume control as far as I can tell on this page. I don't think this audio player has a volume control, so I'm just doing it through the console. All right. So I want to make it so that the page thumbs protocol works in the privileged about content process. Now the good news is that there's already pre-existing work. Non-trivial asks, so I am kind of paying attention to the Twitch chat. Is anyone aware what the 3-armed Mac app at the bottom of the dock is? This thing? This is OBS. This is the streaming software that I'm currently using, and I highly recommend it. If you're not familiar with OBS and you want to stream, this is a good piece of free cross-platform open source software that you can use. It's called OBS Studio. You can get it at OBS Studio. Where can we get it? OBSproject.com. That's what it's called. OBS Project. And it's free, open source, cross-platform, powerful software. And that's what I'm using to stream to you right now. So I highly recommend it. While I'm doing endorsements, use Firefox. There you go. So let's get this the page thumbs protocol working. Now the good news is that there's pre-existing work that I'm aware of where someone tried this. They wanted to make the page thumbs protocol work in the content process. And I want to try and revive some of this, or let's examine it and see how it works. I'm actually assigned to it. I don't know when I assigned myself to it. Was that recently? A month ago. And I want to kind of dust it off and see how it works. But in order to do that, we need to examine what the patch does and figure out whether or not it can even still apply anymore. People are pinging me a lot. I'm just gonna silence this. Okay. So the way that this original patch worked was, it's quite large, but we're gonna examine it together to see if we can understand it. So activity stream, which is the thing that manages the new tab, has this module called screenshots, and then there's this method called get screenshot for URL. So presumably that's like, if you've got a particular URL, we want to see if we have a saved screenshot of that page somewhere hosted on the disk, somewhere saved to the disk. And if one doesn't exist, we should go get one. Excuse me. And then we get the URL for it. Because currently what we're doing is we're getting a blob for it, and then we return the blob URI. Right. And so this patch here makes us use the actual, getting the actual thumbnail URL, which is what we want. Now the script security manager says, so there's this Script security manager, and this might be where things get a little problematic. If the target scheme is the Moz page thumb protocol, allow about home, about new tab, and about welcome to load Moz page thumb. So this, instead of doing like specific allowances for a particular like URI, we'll do it for a particular process type. Like we'll bail out if we're not in the privileged about content process. So that's one of the places where I'll like that answers more or less this question of how do we better allow other content pages to use Moz page thumb, is they have to be running in the privileged about content process. So we'll do a check, and then that answers that question. And then there's a page thumb protocol handler in the network module. Moz page thumb. Now, there is already a Moz page thumb protocol handler. So why do we need to? So it's registered right now. A protocol is registered in both processes. I got a feeling that a lot of this is going to be out of date, which is going to be a little bit of a problem. CID. We're going to need to register a particular one for the parent process and one for the content process, I think. And there's all this networking code. Page thumb stream. Wow. Okay, so this is in the parent process. We receive a request to get the input stream for a page thumbnail. And so what we do is we get the URI for the requested page. We get the page thumb protocol handler in the parent process. We get the input stream, or we create an input stream from the protocol handler service. And if it all works out, we send that down to the content process. And if that didn't work, if terminate sender is true, then we say like, well, that did not work. We send back an invalid stream to the child so it can handle the error. Moz promise rejection is reserved for channel errors or disconnects, like this. Okay, cool. So this is the thing that, this is the header where we implement the getting of the page thumb stream. We have to add it to our cross-process messaging protocol, pNeco, the networking protocol. Okris asks, where are these viewers coming from? I don't remember when there was more than 10 viewers. Yeah, there's a surprising number of viewers watching this stream. Hello, everyone, if you're new. Great to have you here. How embarrassing that the stream where like I got so many people, I screwed up the first couple of seconds by like having the microphone disabled. Well, that's how it goes. Welcome to the joy of coding. That's like situation normal, right? Okay, so this is how we define the message that goes between processes, is through an IPDL file. IPDL stands for, I think, interprocess definition language, or something like that. Process communication definition language. Like, this is basically how we define how we communicate across processes. Hello everyone from the our Firefox subreddit, by the way. If you don't know, my name in the our Firefox subreddit, my username is Good Grief. I don't think that's a secret that I need to keep. I'm Good Grief, good_grief. You've seen me probably commenting periodically. Nice to see you all here. Okay, and then there's, what is this? So there's a static method is exposed in the cancel request. What's this for? What do we do this for? Why is the extension protocol handler getting modified? For the people also on Twitch that are speaking in the Twitch chat, I want to remind you again that the live hacking channel is honestly where you should hopefully be chatting. Maybe one day I'll actually connect the two, but I bring this up because I think Twitch has a particular like culture on images and these little icons that show up. I have no idea what they mean. I don't know if they're good or bad. Like I'm seeing these little graphics show up, like this little person with headphones or a person waving, and then there's that face of that guy going like, I don't know what those mean. So if you're trying to communicate to something to me using those images, I don't understand. So either you can add a glossary or something, or just, you know, don't use the images, or use the images along with what you're actually trying to say to me. Okay, so I don't know why the extension protocol handler is being modified here, but these static methods are being, I think, exposed. Maybe someone was deciding that whoever wrote this patch, because I don't think Jay wrote this patch. Jay Lim was my intern a couple years ago. I don't remember him writing this patch from scratch. I think he salvaged it from someone else, and this was a while ago. So I'm getting a lot of images now, or at least I have one image. It's like a thumbs up. Okay, I think I understand that one. Thank you, Ingrown Mink 4. I think I understand. I'm learning. I'm growing. So this is the meat. This is the good stuff. The page thumb protocol handler. I'm really curious though what this is all about. The extension protocol handler. Why is that needed? Use simple channel. It's possible that it's reusing. We're exposing some functions that we can reuse elsewhere, but I don't know if it makes sense to keep them inside the extension protocol handler then. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So here's the page thumb protocol handler. And this is where things get intense. Like you can tell already that we're using a bunch of stuff. And we're logging. Helper class used with simple channel. Now, simple channel is something that I saw in here. New simple channel. To obtain an input stream from the parent for a remote Moz page thumb load from the child. So what was set up event target? Hello. The tree is closed due to busting. Okay. So we implement some small functions here for getting the stream. Okay. We have to implement what kind of interface? Presumably there's some interface we're implementing here. Page thumb stream getter, or is this just, oh, it's a helper class. Okay, so no interface. Sends a message to the parent process, get the page thumb stream. This is the caller, like that thing that we saw being received in the Neko parent. This is the part where we're asking the parent for information. We're saying, give me that stream for the page thumbs. So this is actually the real guts of everything here, is this get async call. So we make sure that we're in the child process. We make sure there's a main thread event target. I don't know what we use that for. Oh, presumably that's because that's what we use to dispatch the main thread event target is the thread event loop. It's the event loop on the thread for which we're gonna run these callbacks, because we have to tell the promise resolver exactly what thread we're doing. In C++ promises, at least in Mozilla promises, you can resolve your you can run your thenables, or not your thenables. You can run your then functions on a different thread. You can choose which thread you want to run, and in this case, we're choosing the main thread. Oh boy, lots of communication going on. I don't really know how to follow it all. And now Danny Colin has mentioned in general that I'm doing this, so who knows what's going to happen to my viewership count. I really shouldn't embarrass myself now. I'm really going to try and focus. Okay, cancel requests. So this, in the event that we decide we don't want the page thumb stream anymore, we'll tell the stream listener that we're just going to abort it on the channel. Just abort. Okay. Page thumb stream getter. Handle an input stream sent from the parent. So this is the thing, right? If you recall up here, these are our callbacks, more or less, whenever the parent process comes back to us with a stream and we're saying on stream. That's what we're calling. So we make sure that we have these things, and then we get the stream. We move the stream using move semantics, C++ move stuff, and then I guess we're holding on to a stream listener, and we're just gonna drop that reference that we're holding in the as a member and listener, and then we're gonna have this scoped reference here. If the parent didn't send us back a stream, if there's no stream, so if this is null, then we say like this did not work out and we cancel the request. Otherwise we basically pump the stream. We call this a stream pump, where we take the input stream and we turn it into a channel. Is that what we're doing? Stream refs pump main thread event target input stream pump. Async read listener. I guess this is how you wire up an input stream to a stream listener, is through an input stream pump. I guess this is like the verb, the thing that's actually gonna yank stuff out of the input stream and tell the stream listener that something's happening. Mastic Warrior says, thanks for doing this. Thanks for your work on my favorite browser. Hey, thanks for using my favorite browser. I do it for you. Okay, there's some boilerplate in here about, stuff that we're implementing. I believe this is like adding the XPCOM like reference counting stuff. These are all like sort of freaky XPCOM macros, and we can probably ignore those for now. So there's a singleton for the page thumb protocol handler. We just have the one. That's interesting, actually, because what this makes me think is that you can only request one at a time, as opposed to multiple page thumbs in parallel. I'm curious how that works. Well, the tree's back open, well, that's good. There's a singleton, single protocol handler, and let's say we request a stream. What happens? I don't think we've actually reached that point where you request the stream. Where is that? New stream. That might be here. Page the protocol handler, new stream. You assert that we're not the Neko child. Is Neko child? What does this mean? Is it because Neko is now running in its own process? No. Is Neko child is the same thing as like making sure that you're in the process type content. It's not the socket process. So it looks to me now like page thumb stream getter, or this file, page thumb protocol handler, is used in both the parent and the content process, is what I'm determining. Some of these functions only run in the child, some of them only run in the parent. And this part, for example, runs in the parent. What it does... I never receive a URI that isn't from Moz page thumb because those requests only come from the child's page thumb protocol handler. Right. A compromised child process could send us any URI. That's right. I guess that's true. Child URI resolves to a file URI. So we're gonna resolve one to the other, and then we have to like open the file. Now, how do we do that? Do we get file input stream? We get a stream from the file. We defer open. So we do it off of the main thread. I think that's good. So we do the I/O off of the main thread. We stream the file out. Okay. Special cases. See, like, I'm curious, like, why we're doing all this gunk in here. This is not a criticism of Jay or anyone who worked on this, but I'm really curious why we're rewriting all this stuff in C++. Because I think right now we have a page thumbs protocol that works in JavaScript. And, I mean, say what you will about JavaScript, but it doesn't crash as much. And that's the problem with C++, is that it's very easy to crash. Void 72 is going, yawn, Brave is better. Get thumbnail pad. Provide paths, parsing from there. Thumb service, so we get the thumbnail path. This is the thing that's actually, I think, converting from the thumbnail URI, which will be like Moz page thumb, and then the URI for the page that we're requesting, to the file URI on the file system for where the thumbnail is actually stored. It's doing a lot of juggling with like converting URLs and stuff and checking stuff. But I think it's deferring the actual conversion to actually the page thumb storage service. Okay. Content type, new simple channel. All right, that's fine, I guess. But this stuff is from a while back, and I really want to know how much of this is even relevant anymore, because it's possible that we can do a lot of this stuff in script. Oh, see, what's happening is the thumbnails. Thumbnails component implemented its own protocol. Oh, were they moving it? I think they were moving it. That's what they're doing. So there's like all this history, all this stuff I was running under Toolkit components thumbnails, and they're moving it under Neko. I don't know why. I don't know why. But that's what's going on here. Okay, that makes things a little bit clearer. Okay. Okay, so I want to understand more about the page thumbs here. Let me pump up my font so you can see this. All right, before I continue, I want to give people context on what's going on here. The page thumbs protocol. What is the page thumbs protocol? You see these thumbnails? You see these thumbnails like this one here and this one here for the CBC? If I do Moz page thumb HTTP, I think this is how this will work. www.cbc.ca. I think this will work. Does this work? It's possible I didn't format that correctly. Hold on. Moz page thumb. What's the exact format? Moz page thumb, thumbnail. Oh. // thumbnail, and then you give it a URL, encoded URL. Alright. So, something like this. Do I have one for Mozilla.org? No. Do I have one for https Mozilla.org? What is going on? I have a feeling the page thumb protocol is very much disliked by the browser. Hold up. Okay, let's try this. When it can't reach it, I've got fission enabled, so it's probably freaking out trying to find what content process to run this in. Yeah, it's I should probably do this in a non-fission window. Okay, non-fission window. access cbc.ca because I know I've got that. Well, actually, let me copy this and let's load a document in the parent process and then try and access cbc.ca. And it tries to run in the content process. So I can't really demonstrate it, but basically these thumbnails are what I'm trying to like get access to. And so right now there's like a Moz page thumb protocol, and it's implemented under Toolkit Components page thumbs. I need more information about why this was moved, because it seems like we're currently working on removing the Moz extension protocol, which may be able to share some implementational logic with this. Can't do that easily. The typical way to handle this from JS would be to register an NSI protocol handler in the child process. When a new channel is called in the child, you create an NSI input stream channel tied to the output of the NSI pipe, and then send an async message to fetch the channel contents on the parent side. When the parent responds with the channel data, you'd write to the pipe input and then close the pipe. Also, ideally, that would rely on this bug, so we could avoid opening the channel in the parent until the child channel is actually open. But I haven't had time to go back to implementing the JS side of that in the last few weeks. So it sounds like it was intentional to reuse some of the extension protocol stuff. The relevant part of the Moz extension remoting would be extension protocol handler new stream on the parent and extension protocol handler substitute remote file channel on the child. New stream does some file system security checks because any data or URIs received from the child are not trusted to be valid. Right. Right. I think this is mostly blocked on this. Seems to be some principal stuff we need to sort out right now. Activity stream is a resource URL, code-based principle. Turns out we want to keep URI safe for untrusted content. And then Jay took over. Attached a patch that allows the Moz page thumb protocol to work in the content process. You know what we should do? Oh, and then he describes it. This patch, Moz page thumb URIs can only be loaded in the parent process or activity stream pages. I'm not quite sure if we should allow other content pages. Page thumbs protocol handler is very similar to extension protocol handler, and I think extension protocol handler, the reason it got moved under Neko is because that's where extension protocol handler is. It's under Neko. It uses substituting protocol handler as a base. Code in a way to restrict Moz page thumb URIs to resolve to only file URIs. We do not intend to allow substitution rules for Moz page thumb URIs. Loading from parent process is allowed to load Moz page thumb. And loading from a content process, Moz page thumb URI resolves to the same URI, but with the file URI scheme, we will then substitute current channel, the remote channel, and then we send to the parent. Okay, got it. I understand. So let's see if we can import this patch. This patch, when was it posted? This patch is from 2 years ago, so a lot's likely changed. But let's see if we can import it and see what happens. See if we can get it to work. Uncommitted changes, what did I forget? Oh, those things. So I'm gonna get rid of that activity stream bundle thing that I put in here. Yeah. So it's just this one line that I'm actually gonna keep. I still need to document that thing. Wub. What? Unexpected fingerprint. Oh, you know what? It's been a while since I've asked Mercurial to bring down a patch like this. So it's got like an old fingerprint in my Mercurial is being very cautious. So I'm gonna save this through the browser instead. I'm gonna put it in projects, Mozilla Central. Yeah. see if this applies. I got a feeling this is not going to apply cleanly. Let's see what happens. Mercurial is sorting it out. I'll do a freestyle rap while I'm waiting for Mercurial. Nope, never mind. A definitive no coming from Mercurial that this stuff is not going to apply cleanly. Wow. All right, well, let's see what we can do about it. For example, it can't find this file for patching. I think that's probably something we can correct right away. It's possible that like the files just got moved around. So let's see if there's a screenshots.jsm still. Yeah, it's under browser components, new tab lib. Oh, right. Activity stream moved from the extensions directory to the browser components directory. That's why. So I can manually apply these changes. Let's see. They're not too bad. Screenshots.jsm. So what was it? On line 5, it's like we don't need fetch anymore. Stop making fetch happen. That's the classic joke. Well, it's possible that we still need it in other places, right? Fetch. No, we only use it in one place. Okay. So we can get rid of that. We don't need fetch anymore. And then all of this gunk that knows how to convert a file URI into the blob URI that ActivityStream relies on, we just replace with this. All the way up to image path, and I don't think there's anything new in there. Let me just double check. No, this file has not changed at all. All right. Okay, so that file has changed. I can get rid of the reg file. Whoop. RM. I'm gonna get rid of this. I've never managed this many people in a Twitch chat before. I hope people are being nice in the Twitch chat. No one's being a jerk. If there are, I guess I'll give Danny Colin. I don't know if do I have the ability to give you like mod abilities. Let me give you mod abilities. There. Danny Colin is now a mod. And now who else is a mod? Smurf D. These are long-time watchers of the stream. I'm giving them mod capabilities just to make sure that everyone's being civil. Use your power as you need. Okay, what's next? So we patched screenshots.jsm. It tried to patch Script Security Manager and it failed. Let's find out why. Let's look at the rejection file. So basically this entire chunk didn't work out. Well, that's okay. We wanted to change this anyway. This was in a function called... We don't have a whole lot of information. Check load URI fla something. I'm gonna guess it's flags. Yeah, this one. And so I guess there's like this giant like switch or if branching thing. And then where was it added? It was like else if. Like, I wish there was more context here. So something was returning NSOK on line 980 back then. Maybe I can... I'm afraid this file has changed too much. So, you know what I might do actually? Let's do a quick dive into the past. Let's take a look at the provenance of this file, or like the, not provenance, the the history of this file. Script security manager. Let's go back 2 years, not 5 years. So this would have been, what was the date? 2 years ago is July 11th. July 11th, 2018. So right around, oh, that's too far. Oh, it's even further. Whoops. I want to go back just a little bit. July 11th, 2018. So this would have been around here. Let's look at the file here. We can't assume that Jay was using, like, what at the time he posted and created the patch, that he was using the most up-to-date version. Like, he might have had, like, a slightly older version, but this at least gives us a starting point. So it was on line 908. I'll just, like, manually scroll down to line 980. I think it's this. Yeah, there's this like target scheme else if resource inside this function called check load URI flags. That all checks out. So I got a feeling that's where it was originally being added to. This set of checks. Now, something has happened to those set of checks in the meantime, because if we take a look at the modern version of NS Script Security Manager and look at check load URI flags, now we're using, oh no, the target scheme, it's still here, it just moved. So maybe this is where we're supposed to be adding it. Before, all right, what does this thing do? Check load URI flags. Helper method to check whether the target URI and its innermost base URI has protocol flags that should stop it from being loaded by the source URI and or the source URI's innermost base URI, taking into account any NSI Script Security Manager flags passed to check load URI with principal and friends. So we're making sure target URI has protocol flags that should stop it from being loaded by the source URI, also taking into account the base URIs. Okay. And the way it works is we see whether or not we're supposed to report some errors. We allocate this string on the stack, we create an OC string, we get the scheme of the target base URI, and if the URI has flags dangerous to load, if we already know that it's dangerous to load, I don't even know what that means, URI protocol handler dangerous to load. Let's find out. I'm deep in like Neko code, the networking layer. I don't really understand much of this stuff. All protocol handlers must set one of the following five flags dangerous to load. These flags are used to determine who is allowed to load URIs for this protocol. Note that if a URI is nested, only the flags for the dangerous to load is probably like dangerous for web content to load. That's my guess. Dangerous to load. The URIs for this protocol are unsafe if loaded by untrusted web content, may only be loaded by privileged code. Okay, I understand. So let's go back. So we check if the target URI is, I guess, the target URI is the dangerous to load kind. And if it is, well, first of all, if we failed to do any of that and get that information, then we just like blow up. We report some errors. Otherwise, I guess we deny access if URI has flags. What does that do? helper method to handle case for flag pass means denying allowing if the given URI has certain protocol flags set. So it has if it has the flags, then we return. Okay, I understand. Okay, I see. So this will return a failure code if it has the flags. If it has the target URI has these flags. Okay. I'm getting messages. I have managed to do Twitch chat, but I'm not sure you're seeing my messages. Heis says, easiest just make it work fix might be to give the protocol anyone can load this flags. Once that works, come up with the right flags. Void72 says, just have to make sure that I'm not using anything mem intensive while using Firefox. I like Firefox. I was just saying Brave for the lulz. Okay. Cool. Alright, so Heis is suggesting, one of my colleagues is in the Twitch chat, and he was suggesting that, like, I just try and make it work by, like, not doing any of the safety checks. The thing is, just to I'm not sure if you've been watching the whole stream, Heis. I've got, like, a patch that I think is supposed to work. At least when Jay wrote it, it worked. I don't know if Jay wrote it. I actually think Ursula originally wrote it. Ursula was another one of my interns from 3 years ago. Jay was my intern from 2 years ago. Ursula wrote it, then transferred it to Jay, and then Jay finished it, I think. And but that was 2 years ago. And so I feel like I really just want to understand more about how I can bring this patch back to life. That's going to be my goal. Okay, my goal for this stream is to see if I can get the Moz Page Thumb Protocol patch built, applied and built locally. And I'm going to just do what I can to make that happen. So, and like basically rebase it, and then maybe push a new version up to the bug, so that, you know, we've kicked the can slightly. So then the next thing that happens is we check to see whether or not the target URI is a UI resource, so it's like a Chrome URI or something. And if so, we check to see whether or not the load flags allow Chrome access. And if so, we also look at the base URIs. We check to see if it's a resource URI. Okay, so this makes sense. Resource or Chrome. These are the UI resource URIs. And so we're adding a new one to the list, which is the Moz Page Thumbs one, to the Script Security Manager. Okay. And that's so that content can do this, but only what our choice is, like what we're hoping to do now is making it so that only in the privileged about content process do we allow content access to the Moz Page Thumb protocol. Okay, so I think I understand. We're adding to this list. Else if target scheme, actually, you know what? I don't have to manually rewrite this. I can probably just bring this over and then rewrite it. So I'm gonna get rid of these pluses, and I'm gonna fix the indentation. Two more. Okay. And then I think, did I do that right? Why is the indentation all wrong here? Let's see. Then this goes in. Oh, because there. Is it a mixture of 2 and 4? I'm mixing 2 and 4 space indentation. This file is mixing 2 and 4 space indentation. Or no. The patch was originally using 4 space, and I think this file's been reformatted. That's what happened. Okay. Whoops. Okay, this makes sense now. Now the thing is, we're going to check if equals literal Moz Page Thumb. We don't care about the get scheme. Target scheme equals Moz Page Thumb. This, we should only allow this if we are the privileged about content process. And I think the way that we currently do that, I have a check that's similar in the patch that does the read mechanism for reading a static about home. So in this patch, I did something similar inside of the about redirector. And the way it worked is you get the content process, we get the remote type from the singleton, and we make sure that the remote type is of type privileged about remote type. And the way I'm able to do that is because I have both content child and content parent in the scope. So do I have that in here? Content child, content parent? No, I'm gonna have to bring those in. It's annoying. Let's see, Mozilla DOM. Content child. Include Mozilla DOM content parent. You need to bring them both. It's kind of annoying. And then, what else page thought? We're gonna say, we're gonna get the remote type. And if we're basically just gonna copy this. If remote type equals that, then return NSOK. Only if we are of the privileged about remote type kind. So we can skip all of these checks. And I think we fall through. Otherwise, we definitely fall through otherwise. And if we fall through, I believe we say it's a bad URI. So that's, I think, what we want to do here. Which is nice, it's simpler. We should also make sure that we're, I mean, this only makes sense if you're running in a content process. I guess we want to make sure that this works in the parent process as well. So if XRE is parent process, return NSOK for the parent process. Otherwise, we'll fall down here where, okay, we're in the content process. And if we're of a particular type, then we say it's okay. All right. Next up, patching. It patched this file nsnet_cid. I had a feeling. This is way out of date. The way that we register components now is different, and I don't expect this to be the same at all. Like, I think this is still using some of the. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. What was it trying to do? Factory is registering here. So like, where'd the Moz extension one go? Because that's what all this is based off of, is the Moz extension one. And it's not here anymore. And I have a feeling we want to like mimic the Moz extension one as well. I got a feeling it moved to one of the .conf files. I'm right. Here it is. This is what we want to do. Under network build components.conf, we want to add it to here. So yeah, the way that registration of components happens has changed. Network build components.conf. I'll put it here. I guess it's kind of like alphabetical. So what is the CID? Well, the CID in the original patch was this, I believe. Yeah. We'll just reuse that. Contract IDs. Now, what's interesting is that I might have to do something special for well, okay. originally, part of me is thinking, oh, do I have to like register something special for the parent process, like one for the parent process and one for the child process? But I don't believe the components.conf stuff handles that out of the box. That's one of the reasons why in one of my recent patches, the about new tab service, for example, there's this patch where I register this service, and what it does is it connects to the stub service, where the stub service is the thing that determines what is actually registered based on which process you're in. And that was by recommendation from the DOM team, the people who actually, or Chris Maglione, who actually works on this stuff. Now, if I look at this patch again, I have a feeling that the page thumb protocol handler code that is in this patch is designed so that you can use the same code in different processes, and it just expects well, let me just check here. It just expects that callers are going to use the right stuff. I think. Let me just double check here. Yeah, yeah, exactly, right. So if you're in the child process, it like branches and does something differently. It substitutes the channel. It does some like whoop, 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 whoop. Otherwise, they behave like they share the same code, but they branch based on what process kind we're in. And really, isNecho child should probably be, we should have a check, is the privileged content process, privileged about content process. But I digress. Let us continue. The registration, CID, how was that happening? We registered page thumb, and the way it works is you pass it this contract ID, but then you say the protocol that you're registering, in this case is Moz page thumb. Is it a singleton? I think it is. I don't think we have multiple instances of this protocol handler. It's a singleton. So yes, it's a singleton. And type. I'm trying to remember what type is for. I guess like the C++ type. Like, what is this thing? Presumably it'll be something like Mozilla Net extension protocol handler. In this case, it's probably like Mozilla Net page thumb protocol handler. This thing. Is this type def? Mozilla Net page thumb. We're type defing page thumb protocol handler, MozNet page thumb protocol handler. So I guess it's like defined somewhere. We like namespace, Mozilla. Where do we do this? Where do we do it? Where? Mozilla Net extension protocol handler, Mozilla protocol handler. Yeah, Mozilla Net. Then we define this thing, page thumb protocol handler inside here, right? Handler.h. Mozilla Net page thumb protocol handler. Yeah. Okay. So type is Mozilla Net page thumb protocol handler. Cool. Headers. Okay. I guess I want to pass it this header file, and it's going to be under Mozilla Net page thumb protocol handler. Okie doke. And then the constructor. Again, I'm basically modeling this after, like, based on the suggestion in the bug, it was model this after the Moz extension protocol handler. So that's why it's very similar. Page thumb protocol handler get singleton. I think that's defined. Page thumb protocol handler get singleton. Yeah, there it is. There it is. So that's going to do the registration in both processes. In all processes. Maybe we want to like restrict it to just the parent process. Processes. What does processes allow? Process selector. Can I say main process only? content process only. Selector. Alright, well I guess it's going to be all processes for now. It's not too bad. Alright. Alright, so that's the registration. So we don't actually have to worry about this net module patching that did not work out. I'm worried, like some of it succeeded. I actually want, no, sorry, the net module stuff, none of it succeeded. So we're okay. And we're going to get rid of this .reg file now. And now where are we? Now Neko parent. And that looks like the C++ stuff actually applied cleanly. Let's see whether or not it even still makes sense. That's important. Neko parent. So that still makes sense probably. Let's open up the file. Neko parent. Page thumb. Oop. Oopsie daisy. Right, so we added after extension, that makes sense. And then we have the receive, page thumb stream. Trying to make sure all this still makes sense in the current context of things. Protocol handler in the child process, but is not guaranteed to be a valid malicious page thumb URI and not guaranteed to represent a resource that the child should be allowed to access. The page thumb protocol handler is responsible for validating the request. Well, the other thing we should do is make sure that the associated content process is of the privileged type. So this is another check. Like, if we've received a message from like any old content process, you know, and it's not privileged, they can still, a compromised one could send a message that's like, give me a page thumb, and we should definitely say no if they're not allowed. So let's see here. Only the privileged about content process is allowed to access the Moz page thumb protocol. Is allowed to, yeah, things over the Moz page thumb protocol. So we need to check the process type. Remote type. It's basically like the same check I just did down in the script security manager where we get the remote type. So let's look inside content parent, because I have a feeling there are like similar checks there. Get remote type? Yeah, get remote type. So, oh, whoops, wrong file. Whoops. I need, where is the Neko parent, I believe, who manages Neko parent? Neko parent is managed by, whoops, Neko, I believe is managed by pcontent. Is managed by pcontent. So I should be able to get at the manager, there's something just called manager. Yeah. Other PID. So if I do like manager, manager get remote type, that'll work, but I need, yeah, equals literal. So it's like, it's kind of like this, if not, whoop, this is so, I'm sorry, I'm nervous because there's so many people here. If not manager get remote type, I think at that point we should probably crash that content process if it's asked for something it's not supposed to have, and that's definitely the sign that it, like, oh snap, this thing is misbehaving. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna send return IPC fail, no reason. that's going to cause that content process to crash. Any other content process that tries to send this, well, hold up. So we have a couple of layers of security here. The script security manager is going to prevent any old web page from like trying to access Moz page thumb. What I'm currently doing here is if something in that content process is somehow able to bypass the script security manager, which if in a fully compromised content process, anything can happen. You know, the content process can send any old message. And so that's what I'm dealing with here. That's what I'm trying to guard against here, is like a fully compromised content process. And so I want to block that off and say, like, you got to be the privileged about remote type. And if you're able to send me a message asking for Moz page thumb and you're not the remote type, you are definitely not in good shape, so I'm going to crash you. So that's what this does. Any other content process that tries to send this should have been blocked at the script security level, scripts via the script security manager. But if somehow the process has been tricked into sending this message, we send IPC fail in order to crash that likely compromised content process. Okay. So that all actually looks pretty good. So thank you, Neko Parent. Next up is Neko Parent, the header that failed. We're gonna see what happened there. This is probably gonna be reasonably straightforward. Wait, Neko Parent reg. So just adding the method here, extension stream. We're just gonna add it right here. Web extensions, page thumbnails, remote resource loading. I don't think we have to, do we have to do the virtual thing? I don't think we do. Format this a little bit. Right, okay, so I think that's done. Move that reg file. Next up was patching p neko.ipdl. That looked like it worked out. Let's double check. Let's take a look. Page thumb. Looks good. Looks like it still makes sense. Okay. Next up is after page or pneco is the extension protocol handler. Now this thing exploded. This did not work out. The applying of the patch. Oh, I keep looking for like I keep looking for conflict markers, but it's these reg files that exist. This thing. This thing still exists. What is it? It is a extension stream getter, helper class to asynchronously obtain an input stream or file descriptor from the parent for remote Moz extension load from the child. Right. So my original instinct, I think, was right, which is that basically the reason why these things are being exposed is so that the page thumb protocol handler can reuse them. It's just, you know, we're recycling we're reusing, we're reducing code duplication, and we're recycling. And so we expose this cancel request thing. So yeah, there's this static function. And now we're saying that, like, oh, we know it's static, but it's also exposed, so you have to do that. And now all the formatting's busted. I got that extra slash in here. All right. That's one. I'm gonna just hope that, well, how's the formatting? I'm just looking around in the file for hints on how I'm supposed to format. Okay. The reason, I don't know if I have to worry about this anymore because we have like linting stuff that does auto formatting, so I don't think I really have to worry about it. Alright, and then another thing got exposed, which is the set content type. Hello. I guess there's another header somewhere where this got exposed. Alright. Let's find it. Oh, wait, well, hold on. I gotta put this in front. Losing my marbles. Okay. So what was the next one? It was set content type. And again, it's just exposing this void static function on the extension protocol handler. Fine. And the next one was called new simple channel. Right. I don't know if that's the right formatting, but the linting stuff will take care of it. Okay, so that file is done. Let's get rid of that reg. Kung Pao Gao says, this is so cool. I don't know if I can't detect sarcasm, so I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic, but if you're not, thank you. I'm glad you find this cool. Next up is extension protocol handler H, the header. This is probably where we expose those other things, those other stack. Oh, no, we just have a, I guess we define a helper class. Okay. I don't know why. Protocol handler. It's not like. Why is that here? Why? What is. Why? Oh. Oh, because that's what's exposed. I understand. Did I do this right? Yeah, extreme and then cancel request. Did I do that right? I don't think I did. I think I have to do like. Yeah, this first one should have been extension stream getter cancel request. Did I do that right? Okay, good. I did. And then the other ones should have been extension protocol handler. Set content type, new simple channel. right? Did I do that? I did. Okay. Okay, we're okay. We're okay, folks. We're okay. So we were inside this header file, and we just added that class, which I did. And I think I understand why now. It's because, you know, there is a class, and we are going to implement some stuff in it. I think we just forward declare it for some reason. Yeah, because it's referenced here. Forward declare. That's why. Something like that. All right, what's next? Extension protocol handler H is done. I can get rid of that rejection file. If this builds, by the way, it's going to kind of be miraculous, because we haven't even gotten to that point yet, and it would very much surprise me if this will build right out the gate. Okay. So we actually add the files. What's the other one? Page number protocol, unified sources. This has to be in alphabetical order, E-M-N-O-P. There we go. So that's done. Remove that reg file. Next up, I should probably make sure that these files that were added have been added. Like, I don't even think there's a commit yet whenever I do the HT import. I don't think it did a commit, so I'm gonna make sure I add those. And what was the other one? The header, yeah. I should have added both. Shoot! I just added one, and now Mercurial is like all slow. Okay, what's next? We did the Moz build. Next up, it's the page thumbs JSM file. Okay. Okay, that was just getting rid of some spaces, some new lines. I don't know if that's really necessary. No, that's been done before, so we don't have to worry about that. We can get rid of this, this reg file, no problem. Okay, done. Next, page thumbs protocol CPP. Oh, so this is going to be interesting. This file has changed, I think, since. This file has changed. In what way has this file changed? Yeah, removing all of this. We can't just straight remove it because the file has changed in the meantime. So I gotta figure out what's changed and port it over. That's gonna be annoying. Okay, good to know. Good to know. I should write this down. You know what? I definitely need to start some notes here. So let me just. I actually think I've got notes already. So to do. Figure out what changed inside of, what was the file? Page thumbs protocol CPP and .h that prevented removal, clean removal, and port if necessary. Okay. I'm gonna share this if I haven't already shared it, just in case anyone wants to like have a reference to this. I'm gonna drop it in the agenda. Let's put debug in the agenda. There we go. Okay. So I'm not going to worry about forwarding those things, porting those things just yet. Let's go down now to this. Let's just get rid of the files. So I'm just going to remove them. And then it's updating the Moz build, probably for those removed files. And then, I can get rid of these reg files as well, because there's no point in keeping them around. Evil Pie says the C++ code was reformatted a while ago, so old patches usually don't directly apply. Yeah, I'm guessing you're probably right, but I'm gonna want to I'm gonna go through it. Oh, whoops. Page.reg. I want to go through it anyways, line by line, just to make sure that that's the reason, or at least look at the commit log on the file and make sure that other stuff didn't get snuck in the meantime. And this one, we're nearing the end. Getting rid of the unified sources. Okay, so the page thumbs protocol. Got rid of that. So we can get rid of, was there another thing there? Originally there were two. Oh yeah, because the module registration, we don't need that. Is already gone. So we can get rid of this file. I'm pretty sure the module registration stuff is gone. Yeah, it's gone. We can get rid of this file. Okay, and then, yeah, that was the last part. Hey, we did it. Let's take a look at what's changed. Toolkit, components, thumbnails, browser, and network. There's a bunch of. I shouldn't have used browser components. I need to filter out all of the .orig files. But basically, I've got a lot of just untracked .orig files, and this node modules thing is not being ignored. It's a mess. Don't worry about it. But this is all what changed. And all of these node modules. I can skip past them, and then the rest are just .orig files. I've also got this errant fluent file sticking around that I can get rid of. Whoops. Okay, let us commit for now. What was the original commit message? There was no commit message, so I'm gonna create one. Make the Moz page thumb protocol work in the privileged about content process. No reviewer just yet. This is a work in progress patch. I'm just gonna indicate that for myself as well. That's what I tend to do. I also want to actually mention, I want to make sure I put in there Kai says HG status. Oh yeah, he's got this real sweet little little script thing that I think I used to do this too. It's just I forgot all the incantations. Whip. It doesn't know what I mean by whip. So I'm gonna do this thing that Heis suggested, and basically what it is I'm gonna connect a bunch of commands, and I'm gonna get rid of all these .orig files that are hanging around from failed imports. So what this is a kind of arcane. I'm gonna break it down. We're gonna ask, excuse me. We're gonna ask Mercurial to list all of the untracked files, and then I'm going to filter so that only the orig files are listed, and then I'm going to pipe those individual entries into the rm command. I trust Heis. I trust that this is not somehow sneakily constructed to destroy my working directory. But there we go. We're gonna run this, and we're gonna take a look at status, and we should see all of those .orig files are gone now. We just have my node modules directory, which is just annoying. And we've got some reg files. Might as well do the reg files as well. Okay, now the moment of truth. Will this thing build? Will this thing build? And who knows how long this is going to take, because it's, I've touched a bunch of headers. I've touched a bunch of native code. It's possible that this is going to take a little while. I don't have so in the office, it already exploded. Okay, I can work with this. Duplicate contract ID. Moz page thumb. Aha! Right. We have to... who's already doing it? Who's already registered this? Under thumbnails, components, conf. We need to get rid of this thing. Yeah. All right. I'm seeing like questions in the Twitch chat. I'm just gonna take a look. I'm seeing some stuff in here. I haven't really been paying attention. Oh, so Kung Pao Gao was saying he's not being sarcastic. They were not sarcastic. So awesome. You're the best, Kung Pao Gao. You're cool. Have not all files changed since 2 years ago? Can't you just reapply the patch to the file you already modified? Try to apply the patch that did not apply cleanly. C++ code was reformatted a while ago. Old patches usually don't directly apply. Picture-in-picture is just amazing. Hey, you're amazing. Thank you so much. The Elf Lord Zero. You're the best. Okay, we got some explosions already. I can work with this. pneco. IPDL. It's complaining that on line 163, it has no idea what I mean by URI params. So, presumably, this used to be declared, and now we use something else. Oh, wait, URI params URI. Maybe we just pass an NSI URI now. Page thumb stream. What was it doing before? A URI. It was serializing. Yeah, we can just pass normal URIs now. So I got a feeling we're gonna have to adjust some of the code here because we don't have to like serialize and deserialize anymore. The fine folks on the IPC team made it so that we can just pass URIs normally. Protocol serialize. What? No. No, go away. What is this thing called? Page thumb protocol handler. Page thumb protocol handler. Yeah. Serialize. We don't have to do that. We can just pass the URI. MURI. What's spec for? Spec even used? I think the spec is like... I don't think that's used for anything. Oh, is this to like... No, I don't know what it's doing. Why would it get spec? MURI is an NSI URI, so we're going to just pass that instead. We can just do that. Let's see what happens now. I'm going to keep... Oh, more. Oh, no, everything's fine. Let me see what else is going on in here. Mike, I'm dropping frames on Firefox. Oh, AMD Radeon RX 570 and latest driver. 1 frame per second on YouTube, but 0 frames in Chromium. You're dropping 1 frame per second? This is White Mystic 1, dropping 1 frame per second. Okay. So if you are experiencing a performance issue in Firefox, it's almost like... So, like, there's very little that can be done. Reporting things like... So it's possible that I can help you, but it's almost like saying to a clinic doctor that like, I got a pain in my side, it hurts. That's a legitimate complaint, but I need more information. Like, I need diagnostic information before I can like guide you, and I'm going to show you how you can gather diagnostic information, so that I can maybe give you more give you steps to make things better, or maybe we can make things better in the product. So while we're waiting for this build, oh no, it already failed. Let me hold up. Stuff has changed. Extension protocol handler. Use of undeclared identifier cancel request. Oh, so something in here was using the original cancel request method, and now we want to use these. The static on the extension. Where is it being used? On line 472. So in what context is it being used? This like helper function. So presumably what we want to be using instead is extension stream getter cancel request. All these places, I'm going to say, I guess that's not necessary in here because we're already in extension stream getter. We're already there as well, but over here, okay. What else? It says that over here in the page them protocol handler line 119, on start request. So like the NSI request observer interface, it doesn't expect more than one argument. Have we changed this interface? I guess we have. On start request, I guess used to take 2 arguments. Remove context from on start request. This happened in February of 2019, last year. Okay. So we pass a request now, which I guess a channel implements the request. I don't know. So channel. What was this before? Diff. Holy smokes. Hey, look, there's like coverage numbers. That's neat. Yeah, it's just a removal. I think we can just get rid of that. And then on stop request, it's not expecting. I got a feeling I gotta like get rid of this second argument. That was on line 120. Yeah, status code. Status code? Stop request. And its result status code. Yeah, okay, good. And then no member named get remote type in p content parent. Never even heard of it. Oh, okay. Content parent. I thought content parent does implement it. What are you talking about? I have right. It's a P content parent when I get at the manager like this. Right. So I have to. Man. Okay. Where is an example of us like? I think we can just like static cast to. Yeah. I think that's generally what you do. Ooh, maybe there's even like a helper. Get content parent. Parent. This is the background. No, we don't. We're not on a background thread. All right. I'm just gonna static cast it for now. We're gonna say, whoopsie daisy. We're gonna say static cast. This is gonna be gross. Static cast content parent. Gross. All right, let's see if that builds. Sorry, I wanted to continue what I was saying before about gathering information whenever you have a performance problem. So here's what I would recommend. First of all, grab yourself a copy of Nightly. So Nightly is a nightly instance of the browser. It's what I'm using right now. It's the nightly build of the browser. It's remarkably stable. You can get Nightly at nightly.mozilla.org. So you can download it and you can run it. And it will run in a separate profile from your current profile. And to see if you can recreate the issue in Nightly. If you can, the next step is to go to profiler.firefox.com. Maybe someone can write these steps down and we can put in the agenda later, or the episode guide. You go to profiler.firefox.com and hang on, let me show you what it's like. Hang on. Okay, if you go here in Nightly, there'll be a button that says Enable Profiler Menu Button. And I may have just screwed myself by removing it from the toolbar. So let me just double check. It's not in here. I don't know what's going to happen whenever I click this. Let's see. I'm going to click this, and hey, it puts this little stopwatch inside of the toolbar. This is the Profiler panel, or the Profiler tool. And this is what is basically a diagnostic tool. Think of it as like an MRI of your browser. While we're all thinking about medical stuff lately, think of this as like a tool for collecting an MRI of your browser. And then under settings, make sure it says Firefox platform, and then start recordings. Just click on that. And then do the thing that creates the bug. Like go to YouTube and then go and get your your dropped frames. Like we're gonna watch this video and maybe I'm gonna probably get DMCA'd, but play the video, do whatever causes the problem. And then once the problem is reproduced, then click on capture. And it might take a second, but what it's going to do is it's going to open up a tab that looks kind of like this. And this is the MRI. You can think of this as like the MRI of your browser, of what was happening during that moment of time. And this is what we use to figure out what is slow, like what's going on. Like, because this actually gives us real data on what's happening in the browser. And so what you can do is you can share this with us by publishing it. You can click publish, and then you can choose what you want to share. The more you share, the easier it is for us to diagnose. But if you are worried that there's stuff in the screenshots, or maybe you don't want to show what extensions you have installed, okay, that's fine. You can hide those, but it makes it harder for us to diagnose. But okay, you get those choices. And then you can publish and then share the link with us. File a bug, you can send me an email, you can send me things over Twitter, you can, you can talk to me in the Twitch chat with a profile. I can look at that, and then I can make inferences, I can infer what might be happening. And it's not a silver bullet. It doesn't always reveal what's going wrong, but it is probably the best tool we have right now to do performance diagnostics, to figure out what's actually happening on your machine and help you out. So that's one thing. And the second thing has to do with memory. Some people are like, why is Firefox using so much memory? And what they will use to demonstrate that is they will open up the task manager in Windows, and they'll show Firefox using a lot of memory. And they'll go, why? And it's a bit like saying, why do I have a headache? There could be any number of reasons why you have a headache. Why is my throat sore? Well, maybe there are any number of reasons why you have a sore throat. Maybe you've been speaking a lot. Maybe you have a cold. Maybe you have, I don't know, maybe you have bronchitis and you've been coughing a lot. Who knows? Who knows? But there is a tool, kind of like the profiler, that allows us to get more information. Almost a memory diagnostic tool. So you can actually use the profiler to get some of that memory diagnostic information. Like if you in the profiler, if you choose custom, I think you can, like, under edit settings, you can choose to like record JS and native allocations. This is still kind of experimental, but that allows us to see like what is consuming memory during the profile recording phase. So that's pretty handy. And then the other thing that you can use is about memory. This is a tool that exists both in Nightly, but also in like Release Firefox. So if it's just a memory issue you're dealing with, you can do this in Release Firefox right now. You go to About:"Memory and click on Measure. And what that will do is it will take a second, and then it's going to dump out a bunch of information about what's consuming memory in the browser right now. And like, I've got this really weird thing right now where like 744 megs are in heap unclassified. That's not good. I'm going to try and minimize the memory usage. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to remeasure and see if that's gone away. No, it's still around. So there's like something is holding on to this memory, and unfortunately it's in heap unclassified, which means we don't exactly know what it is. It could be any number of things. It might be fonts. It might be on the system level. But there's other stuff that we might be able to do action on, like you know, there might be a leak. We might be leaking windows. Like this is the tool that we use to figure out what's taking up memory. And so what you can do is you can measure, and then you can save that measurement. So you can choose like measure and save, and then like you can save this measurement, and then like a profile, you can send that to us. You can file a bug, send it to me by email, send it over Twitter. I don't know. You can send it in the Twitch chat. That's what I would recommend. Instead of saying, why is Firefox taking up so much memory? Why is Firefox slow? How come it's dropping frames? Is if you can provide this information, kind of like showing up to your doctor and you're like, here, I've already got the MRI. I've already got the x-rays. Please analyze these. It's much easier for us to provide you actionable data like immediately. Because otherwise, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is please provide a profile. Please provide a memory report. And so that slows things down. Okay, how are we doing on the build? So the build failed. Why? Oh, because on the parent side, I was still expecting to receive URI params, and that makes no sense. So that's the page thumb stream. We should be receiving an NSI URI pointer, not URI params. That should work, hopefully. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Oh, people are pinging me. I'm receiving messages. While I'm waiting for this to keep going, let's take a look at the Twitch chat and the live stream, live hacking chat. See if there are any other questions. We can talk after the stream. It's very late. Could you add a $sign at the end of the grep for it to find a string ending with like such and such? Yeah, one could have used the $sign at the end of the query for the .orig or .reg, just in case you had a file that had .orig or .reg in like the middle of the name. That is a good point. Thank you, Smurf D. And Yazkus, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Yazkus? Hey Mike, is the NS prefix in the Mozilla code for Netscape? I think I've seen this prefix before in an Apple code that was for Next Step. Actually, yes. NS is for Netscape. Before, this was back in the day. This code was originally written back in the day, or like a lot of the atoms, the original versions of the Mozilla code base were written before you had C++ namespaces. And so you kind of had, people would cobble together like their ad hoc namespace by putting like some characters before their stuff. In this case, Netscape put NS. Okay, use of undeclared identifier set content type. This is the same problem we were kind of having before. Extension protocol handler. What was it? Set content type. I think I need to tell it to use On line 894. That's down here. Inside of this static function, we have to tell it to use extension protocol handler set content type. And then down here in Neko parent, no matching function called whoops. So I was sloppy, and I was just like, hey, let's deserialize that URI. We don't need to do that anymore. The AURI is the deserialized URI. Okay, let's try building that now. Let's see, other questions. We have Coco. Oh, Heis has already been answering questions in here. So thanks for taking on those questions, Heis. Investor Will Rob asks, getting a cross-origin request blocked. Any easy setting in Firefox options? Cross-origin request blocked. I mean, so cross-origin request security or CORS is how we make it so that, you know, if you're not familiar with CORS, it's like a mechanism to prevent sites from like sending requests to other sites that aren't supposed to get them and pretending they're you, if that makes sense. So like if I were to frame in a small frame, a tiny little iframe your bank, making sure that I can't like communicate with it and like put it in a little frame and like pretend that I'm you. Cross-origin and same thing with like XHRs. I think it's to prevent like sending a network request to the bank, hoping that your cookies go with you or something. So like, I that was a very sloppy explanation. You could probably find better explanation for CORS elsewhere, but I don't know if there's a way to built in to disable CORS. If you're seeing set content type is a private member of Mozilla Net Extension Protocol Handler. Private in the header. Oh. Private. And who is using these again? Like, what's the point if they're going to be private? What's the point? Who's using this? Page Thumb Protocol Handler was using it. So, like, we need to expose these things so that they're not private. Oh, wait. They're implemented. I see. So on line 894 of Protocol Handler, down here we're saying set content type, but it is a private member. Oh, you know what? I should be doing it. I should be doing this for this variation on the function as well. And then since it belongs to extension protocol handler, I don't need that anymore. Okay. Good questions. Wouldn't it be better if 63% of your memory wasn't unclassified? Lol face. Yeah, it'd be a good idea. Let's see, Mozilla and Firefox are more important now than ever in history. If you ask me, thank you for your service to society. Well, thank you. If you're using Firefox, thank you. You know, every user of Firefox is a vote for the open web. So thank you if you're using it. And if you're not using it, use it. And Yuskuz. Originally, I was pronouncing it Yuskuz. It's actually just cuz. So better. Evil Pie is like, as far as I know, we don't support disabling cores. And Investor Will Rob has now been pointed at a particular bug. Seems the site might be broken. Thinks on their side, has been using it since 2010. Investor Will Robb says they've been using Firefox since 2010. OG Firefox user. You're the best. Praise. Let me give you praise. Investor Will Robb and all of you users, if you are watching this and you've been using Firefox for a long time, or even just if you are using Firefox, I want to tell you right now, you're the best. You're the best, and I'm happy to work on it for you. That's why we do it. We do it for the users. That's why we do it. It's for the web, for the users. Hey, we're linking. We're linking. We got to the linking step. We got to the linking step. All right, while we're waiting for this to link, I'm going to do a freestyle rap. I'm actually going to wrap this up really shortly. We got to where I wanted to, which is like it actually builds. I don't know if it's going to work, but we got it to build. But I'm gonna do a freestyle rap. Here we go. Let me get some music going. We can talk a little bit about what we did today. Here we go. We'll get into the beat here. Yo. Getting into the flow. Yo. Firefox. Want to let you know about Firefox. It doesn't come in a box. You download it into your computer and then you browse the web. You got the page thumbs patch. Naturally, it just applied poorly. But then we fixed it up and now it's done building. Gonna give it a run. Gonna have some fun. I hope the patch doesn't cause us to crash. Here we go. I'm gonna try and see what happens if I say Moz, page, thumbs, something, thumbnail, and then I actually need a thumbnail in order to do this. How do I do that? I need to generate a thumbnail. This isn't gonna work out correctly. My bad, I don't have a good test case. Sorry, folks. Shoot. Gonna wrap up shortly. Abort the rap shortly. But I want you to know, I believe in you, wherever you are right now. If you're home, if you're hunkered down, I hope you're safe. We're gonna get through this together. Wash your hands, stay healthy. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna come out of this okay. Inspiration. Whoa. Inspiration. Where are all of the page thumbs stored? Here they are. We've got one. It's for Mozilla. Yo. Highly appropriate. The page thumb comes from Mozilla. Now I'm going to see if I can get it to load. Manila. Nope. That did not work out. I have a feeling it's because it's not Moz page thumbs, it's Moz page thumbs. Yo. Yo. Still not working. Explosion. Gonna have to debug this, but maybe another time. I will post this patch, what I've currently got to the bug. We got it to build, and that's the first step. But now we gotta figure out how to make it work. And hey, it's all about the user. Let's jam out for a good 5 seconds, then I'm gonna end the stream. Alright, I'm gonna cap it here. Hey, thank you so much for watching episode 209 of The Joy of Coding. I hope that was interesting. I hope you, I'm amazed that there are so many people watching the stream that didn't just completely drop off. I hope, let me know what you thought. If you, maybe you were here at the beginning, maybe you weren't, but if you weren't, there is a form you can provide feedback on what you thought about the stream, and that form is linked to from the agenda. I'm just going to drop that link again into the Twitch chat. If you want to get in touch with me, you can send me a message on Twitter. You can email me. Okay, you can send me email, mconley@mozilla.com is how you can get through to me. It might take me a while to respond, and I might forget. You might have to like poke at me. I get a lot of email. I get a lot of bug mail, get a lot of email. But if you want to send me email, you can do that. Please don't send me spam or register me for spam lists. That would make it harder for me to respond to people. But you can send me a message if you want information or something. Yeah. Oh, the previous example, someone posted, "Get off my lawn," had a previous example. No luck there. But like, if you click on this link, you can fill out a form and let me know what you thought. And I read everything that comes in, and it will help me shape the stream for you folks, because I do it for you. Everything I do it for you. And I've got this bit of green screen that pulled up, I guess, at some point. That's too bad. It's too bad. It's been there the whole time. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you stay safe. I hope you wash your hands, stay healthy, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 1 p.m. I'll be doing this again, and I'll see you then. Take care of yourselves. Bye. Wait, oh, hold on. I gotta do the outro music. Hold up. I gotta kick off the outro music. Take care. Bye-bye. Come on. Where is it? It's not working. And did Wacky Morning DJ crash? Hold up. The WebSocket may have closed. Okay, let me try that again. Thank you so much for watching. I'll take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.